And a touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hey all, Rick here from Hamilton Sports Central. We're doing a Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Hamilton preview for tomorrow's game. This is the second of two this year between Hamilton and Winnipeg, as Hamilton beat Winnipeg earlier this year, 37-27. We're going to go through the depth charts for both teams, and then we're going to look at the news and notes. Right now we have Ontario Wilson on the left-hand wide receiver spot with Tim White beside him at the slot back. You have Bryant, Mazkuza, Ellsbury, and Eli at center. Patrick Neufeld at right guard. Broxton at right tackle. Cobb and Corcoran at the right wide receiver spot. Behind them, you have Brady Oliveira and Michael Kursik. Zach Collaros, Taylor Elgersma, and Perkins as the quarterbacks. Daniels at tight end. Dembski and Tommy Neild at the two slot back positions. Castillo and Sheehan as kicker and punter. And then Leroux as the long snapper. On defense, we have Reese at the left defensive end spot. We have Cornelson and Lawson at the left D-tackle spot. On the right D-tackle spot, you have Seresna and Fletcher. At the right defensive end, you have Jefferson and Gatkuoth. Linebacker positions, you have Jones and Cadwater. Middle linebacker, you have Wilson, Ayers, and Shea. Sam linebacker, you have Griffin, Smith, Boulain. And then secondary, you have Williams, Vadville, Bavel, Nichols, Cramdy, Hallett, Stewart, Holm, Kelly, and Moxie, and Bavel will be the kick returner. If we go over to the Hamilton side, on the left to right, for offense, we have Myron Mitchell and Kenny Lawler at the left wide receiver position. Left tackle is Trevor Reed. Left guard is Brendan Revenberg. Center is Liam Dobson and Chris Kolinkowski. Nathaniel Dublin Duguay at right tackle. Dublin Duguay at right guard. Quentin Barrow at right tackle. And then to the right of the right tackle spot, you have Kedrick Wheatfall and Tyson Middlemost. Behind that row, you have Keandre Smith and Isaiah Wooden Sr. at the left slot back position. The fullback and tight end, you have Milanovic, Litre, Maximus, Mang, and Daniel Bell at the fullback and tight end. Quarterbacks, you have Bo Levi Mitchell, Trey Ford, and Jake Dolagala. Running back, you have Larry Roundtree III and Johnny Augustine. And then the two slot backs is Tyler Chanowski and Curly Gittins Jr. For kicker, we have Mark Leggio and long snapper Sean White. Mitch McCarthy is punting, and then Isaiah Wooden Sr. is kick return, punt return. On defense, we have Hilaire, Julian Hauser, and Agudi at defensive end. Defensive tackle, we have Miles Fox. The other defensive tackle spot, we have Mario Kendricks and Daber, who is a game-time decision. Isaiah Bagna and Philip Osai at the defensive end with Owen Hubert. And Bagna is starting due to him being a designated national. And then for linebackers, you have Broxton Hill and Gagnon. Middle linebacker, you have Ryan Baker, and making his Ticat debut this Sunday will be Winton McManus. Now, Winton McManus is a nationalized American, So he will be able to play 25% on defense for any Canadian, which is why Bagnot is a designated national, so that when Philip Osai is in, then McManus can play as 25% as a Canadian. Reggie Stubblefield rounds out the linebackers section. For secondary, we have Jamal Peters at boundary corner. Boundary half, we have Destin Talbert. Free safeties, we have Stavros Kachatonis and Robert Panabaker, who is also a game time decision. And then we have White, Hayes, and Walton at corner. We're going to go over to the news and notes for this week. So far, this is game number 27 on the season for the whole league. Rivalry dates back to 1961, 131 games. This marks the 132nd all-time record between the Ticats and the Blue Bombers. Currently, Winnipeg leads 70-61. Since 2021, Winnipeg has won 6 of 10 meetings with Hamilton. The Ticats have won the first meeting of 2026 by a score of 37-27 on June 11th last month. Unheard of drive success through this, though this is only 3 games in. Hamilton has had 33 possessions in their 3 games and have generated 13 touchdowns. That creates a 39% success rate. No team has ever approached that before until now. Hamilton has scored on 10 drives of 70 yards or more. Bombers AT passing. Zach Collaros enters week 5 with 20,169 yards as a Blue Bomber. 6 yards back of Kahar Jones, 20,175. First, second on the franchise list. Collaros is 56-24 over 80 starts and 7 seasons with the blue and gold. Disciplined football. Winnipeg and Hamilton have been the CFL's most disciplined team through 4 weeks, with 14 penalties each for an average of 4.7 per game. Incredibly, Hamilton has only taken 1 penalty in offense. The next closest one is Winnipeg with 5. 307 combined starts. Bo Levi Mitchell, 161. Zach Collaros, 147. Lead active quarterbacks in career starts for a total of 307. Bo has had a head-to-head edge in week 2 with a 37-27 Ticat win, ending a personal 6-game losing streak versus Collaros, who now holds a 9-6 lead in 15 games. Getting the most out of kicks. The Blue Bombers and Ticats are both the best punt cover teams in the CFL. They rank 1 and 2 in net punt average based on limited opponents' return primarily. Hamilton has only allowed 37 punt yards thus far. Winnipeg leads the highest punt average, out-kicking everyone else and giving up just 82 return yards. Cats off a bye. Hamilton is 14-5 off the bye week since the start of 2018 and is 4-1 under Scott Milanovich. Perfect QB rating. Bo Levi Mitchell is coming off consecutive games with a perfect rating of 158.3, becoming the 8th quarterback in CFL history to accomplish the feat. Minimum 15 attempts in each. Only Warren Moon has done so 3 consecutive in 1980 to 1982. Mitchell has had 3 starts in his career with a perfect rating, minimum of 15 attempts. What a start. The Ticats quarterback is putting up historic numbers through 3 starts, leading the CFL accuracy with 84.0% and a QB rating of 145.0, while averaging 10.9 yards per attempt. Red zone passing. Bo Levi Mitchell has been sharp in the red zone so far, completing all 12 attempts for 87 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2026. Scoring efficiency. The Ticats found the end zone on 6 of 12 possessions versus BC for an incredible rate of 50%. Hamilton's offense leads the CFL with touchdowns on 39.4% of all possessions, 13 of 33 through week 3. Jake Dolegala. Jake Dolegala has found his end zone in Hamilton's 3 games this season to lead the team with 3 rushing touchdowns. Keandre Smith. Keandre Smith only caught 2 passes against BC, but one was for a 50-yard touchdown. He leads Hamilton with 239 receiving yards, opening the season with 3 straight games of 90 or 70 plus. Smith has a recorded 3 big receptions of 30 plus yards, 1 in each game so far. Bombers' run defense has struggled so far, allowing a league high 154.3 rushing yards per game through 3 contests, but may have turned the corner in week 4, limiting Edmonton to just 23 rushing yards in the second half. So that is the news and notes for today's preview. We will be at the game tomorrow. Don't forget, Hamilton's going to have a car show tomorrow, so they're going to have all new interesting cars at the stadium. It starts at 5. But I do appreciate everyone for stopping by. Don't forget, tonight we are going to have a watch along for the BC and Edmonton game tonight. So don't forget to stop by. But I do appreciate everyone for stopping by. Also, before I end the video, where did I put it? I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, KPHR Radio, Hamilton's home for classic rock, and if you love legendary rock anthems, great on-air personalities, and community-focused programming, be sure to tune in to KPHR Radio. Listen live and discover all their shows, music, and more by visiting katradiogroup.ca. Thanks for KPHR Radio for supporting Hamilton Sports Central and bringing to you our pregame for this week. So starting this week, I'm going to start again doing post games as well with highlights and everything, and giving us our thoughts. And then next week I'll start doing fantasy videos and that for the week. And then Tuesday I will be at the Hamilton Hammers event to unveil the jerseys. So we'll have some type of content for that. But other than that, we have some surprises coming up in November. Yours truly was offered tickets to go to the Hamilton Hockey Hall of Fame event, so I will be doing content for that as well. And I will be doing the red carpet, so I'll be able to interview the Hall of Fame class this year. So there's that. But I do appreciate everyone for stopping by. This is Rick from Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.